She earns another glowing star, but the applause loops unnaturally, slightly out of sync, while the star flickers, then suddenly snaps onto her skin like it chose her. More stars appear, but they don't float. They twitch, drag downward against invisible gravity, stretching her posture as smiles around her freeze just a second, too long. She reaches for a new challenge, but the stars tighten, pulling her back, as if failing might tear them off, and something worse would replace them. Alone, she tries peeling one away, but it resists, sinking deeper instead, and she whispers, "If I stop winning, do they disappear? Or do I?" At breakfast, her parents smile brightly, but their movements loop slightly wrong, repeating gestures while her stars pulse faintly, like reacting to something no one acknowledges. She drops a spoon, watches it fall, but it hesitates midair before hitting the floor late, as if reality forgot to respond on time. At school, she raises her hand, but the teacher skips over her twice, animation resetting subtly, while her stars tighten whenever she tries again. She answers correctly anyway, but the praise arrives delayed,
Teacher?
echoing strangely, and another star embeds itself deeper, slightly misaligned with her skin.
Please?
She touches the new star, but her hand
the
passes
answer
through
is
it for a
5.
frame before snapping back, like her body and the world disagree. Classmates congratulate her, but their mouths move out of sync with sound, looping smiles, while her stars twitch whenever she looks uncertain. She deliberately answers wrong, testing something,
Please,
but the
I didn't
scene
mean to.
resets instantly.
Why are you
Her
smiling
voice
at me?
replaced with the correct
Everything
answer,
feels so
as if failure
wrong.
is being erased.
Am I the one who's
Confused,
broken?
she repeats the mistake,
I think the answer
but
is
again the
4.
world corrects her, forcing success, while another star appears without anyone reacting. She whispers she didn't mean it, but her mouth briefly desyncs from her face, repeating the words silently, while distant applause distorts and stretches unnaturally. Her notebook shows
listen?
perfect answers forming,
Please, I need help.
but now the ink crawls across the page like liquid,
Can anyone hear
rewriting
me?
faster when she tries to look away. She scratches out the answers, but the page glitches, layers duplicating briefly, before snapping back, restoring perfection more aggressively than before. At home, she refuses to complete homework, but multiple ghosted frames of her hand appear, all writing simultaneously before collapsing into one perfect version. She grips the pencil tighter, trying to stop it, yet her hand lags behind its own movement, like her body no longer leads. Latency increases. Objects respond slower, voices echo late, while her stars begin shifting positions between frames, never
Someone
quite
there?
staying where they were.
I can't move right.
She stands up abruptly, but
Everything is
the chair
falling
reacts
apart.
a second later, sliding after she's already moved, as if reality trails behind her existence. Looking around, she notices everything continues normally for others. Perfect timing, perfect smiles. Only her world feels delayed, controlled, and slightly wrong. She claps suddenly, but now multiple delayed echoes of her hands overlap visually, creating layered duplicates before collapsing back into a single frame. She runs down the hallway, but her body briefly splits into staggered positions, like frames misaligned, before snapping back violently into one continuous motion. A friend waves, but their arm detaches slightly between frames,
Hey, what are you
lagging
doing?
behind their body before snapping back,
Your arm,
smile
it's moving
unchanged and
funny.
looping. She steps into their path,
Never
but her
mind, I
body
guess.
partially phases, layers misaligning, as if she exists across multiple frames that cannot settle. She shouts their name loudly, but no one reacts. Mouths move, conversations continue, while her voice seems visually absorbed into empty space. Her stars begin rearranging, shifting positions between frames, tightening around her shoulders, subtly pulling her posture into something more constrained. She deliberately drops her backpack, but it resets onto her shoulders instantly, as if the world refuses to let her fail or let go. She tries again, throwing it harder. This time it falls, but snaps back mid-frame, glitching between positions before settling perfectly again. Breathing faster, she runs outside, but the sky flickers between frames, colors slightly off, like the background is being re-rendered incorrectly. She stops suddenly. Everything freezes for a moment, then resumes without her, as if the world continues while forgetting to include her. She waves frantically at passing students, but their eyes slide past her, gaze snapping forward unnaturally, never locking onto her presence. She steps into someone's path again. This time they walk through her slightly, overlapping layers, before snapping back as if nothing happened. Her stars pulse sharply now, reacting faster than everything else, as if they're the only part of her synchronized with reality. She grabs one star tightly, trying to rip it free, but the world stutters violently, frames skipping before resetting her hand position. She screams in frustration, but now her face glitches. Multiple expressions flicker rapidly, while the sound remains completely absent, visually erased. The environment loops perfectly, but now, small elements. Papers, shadows, out of sync, revealing subtle fractures beneath the stable surface. She knocks over a desk violently, but fragments of the motion persist for frames, overlapping resets, before everything snaps back unnaturally clean. Desperate, she sweeps everything off again, but the entire room glitches, then snaps back perfectly, erasing her effort completely. She freezes, realizing nothing she does can persist, while her stars tighten further, almost lock all into controlled stillness. Slowly, she stops resisting. The world stabilizes slightly, rewarding stillness as if obedience restores reality while defiance breaks it. She walks to the bathroom slowly, movements controlled, while her stars dim slightly, as if compliance is reducing the tension gripping her body. She looks into the mirror, but her reflection appears a second late, slightly misaligned, then suddenly stops mimicking her movements entirely. She raises her hand. The reflection doesn't follow. Instead, it stands still, staring back with a fixed smile that doesn't match her fear. The mirror glitches. Her reflected stars are gone, leaving her image lighter, freer, but the real weight on her body increases sharply. She touches the mirror, but her reflection doesn't reciprocate, creating a delay that stretches, then snaps back into perfect sync unnaturally. She backs away slowly, but her reflection lingers for a frame too long, then disappears completely, leaving the mirror empty. Panicking, she grabs a class photo on the wall, noticing her image flicker faintly, edges dissolving between frames. She watches closely. Her photo version fades further, frame by frame, until only empty space remains where she once stood smiling. She drops the photo, but it lands silently, as if sound no longer belongs to her actions, reinforcing the growing visual silence. Her stars glow intensely, now pulling tighter, forcing her posture upright, as if replacing her natural movement with something controlled. She tries to step forward, but her feet hesitate, detaching slightly from the ground before snapping back, unstable and unnatural. Gradually, her feet lift again, this time not returning, hovering slightly above the floor, jittering, as if reality no longer anchors her. She looks down, terrified as her body floats subtly, while everyone else continues walking normally, perfectly grounded and unaware. She reaches toward someone, but her hand phases through slightly, her form less solid, while her stars remain sharply defined. Her voice fails again. No sound, no reaction, only the stars pulsing brighter, as if they are becoming her only remaining presence. She looks around desperately, but the world loops perfectly without her, interactions continuing seamlessly as if she was never part of them. Her body flickers between frames, slightly transparent now, while her stars stabilize completely, no longer shifting or glitching. One by one, Her limbs fade subtly, replaced by stable glowing stars that holds position where her body used to be. A perfect version of her appears nearby, smiling brightly. Covered in evenly spaced stars, fully synchronized with the world. No one notices the difference. The new version is praised, while the original vanishes completely, leaving only stars, perfectly aligned, perfectly accepted,